reading so that you can understand where it fits, right? And then I explain to you what this is teaching you, or teaching us, okay? So the story in this book here is about this young Vietnamese boy, 12 years old, Vietnamese from Vietnam. And he left home when he was 12, to go to France because of the war. He killed himself. So he went to France to study, worked very hard, became a doctor, a respectable doctor. So all the time he was away in France, he wanted to come back to Vietnam to help the poor, the not so fortunate people. Yes, so about 10 years ago he came back to an orphanage in Vietnam and adopted some orphans and helped some orphans in their schooling and in their skill learning. So then he wrote this book, and that young boy who became a respected man later was my uncle. So I learned a lot from him. So this passage I'm going to read for you is about the chef. So he's leaving his country, he's going to the port, and he's taking a ship. In those old days, no airplanes, no fast airplanes. So they have to take the boat. It takes something like 2, 3, 4 weeks to go all the way to Europe. Okay. So I read to you in French, and then I would
in French.
In French. Okay. It's just a short passage. Okay. So some of you who know French, okay, you would understand this. It's called le bateau.
What's that?
Le bateau is the ship. So I read in French, okay? And then I come back later, I explain to you the key lessons from it.
But how about in English? Can you explain it in English?
I will do that later, if you let me. Okay. Ce 1er octobre 1947, sur le quai de Saigon, était amarré le Félix Roussel qui allait m'emporter à plus de 10 000 km vers une destination dont j'ignorais tout. That's French, okay? Or my French anyway. Mon père m'a dit, observe, trie et retiens. J'avais 12 ans et demi, je comprenais mal ce précieux conseil qui allait m'être utile par la suite pour toujours. Observer, c'était aux yeux cliniciens de mon père, examiner et surtout s'ouvrir au monde, qui allait m'accueillir et recevoir tout ce qui s'offrait à mon regard. Tant de choses que je devais bien sûr trier pour en retenir le plus possible, sinon le mieux possible. À cet âge, les tailleurs ne sont pas parus déchirants, sans doute inquiets. Pensais-je déjà à tout ce que j'allais devoir affronter seul désormais, même si je n'avais jamais baigné dans une douce ambiance familiale, plutôt enfant de la rue que surprotégé. Viennent à ma mémoire les souvenirs par bribes, inorganisés, non datés, plus de 50 ans après. So he wrote this book about 70 years after he left his country. This man is his family. So I would explain to you what I just read. Not every word, but just the key learnings from it, the key sharing. Okay. So what his father told him when the young boy left on the boat, going to the boat, saying farewell, is observe, trie, retiens. So he says, observe everything you see, choose and select, and retain, maybe retain the important things for your learning. To examine, and above all, open up to this new world, which is welcoming you, and receive everything which comes to your eyes. So many things to choose from and to retain as much as possible, if not as well as possible. So this advice guided this boy all his life. So children, this is for you too. At school, outside school, now in future years of your life. It's about observing, selecting, keeping, and using it later. Okay. So from this book, I also learned quite a lot of other things, very important things which many of us have to follow in our life. So I learned about discipline. He came to France, he was very disciplined, he worked hard, he kept faith with difficulty, he had a lot of struggle. He had to go work in restaurants to have money to study. And then he also gained acceptance in a foreign land. So he's a foreigner, he went to France. It's difficult, but he got accepted as a French person eventually. And above all, it's about living life with pride and love. Be ready to give and help as a doctor, and to always remember where we come from. Yes. Whatever we do well. We always remember where we come from. So for many of you, you come from Thailand. So one day you will go and study, you will do well, you will remember that you're from this land. Many of us remember where we come from. And this is very